Xavier, demand by tourists in Nepal for inexpensive
Thanga.
thanga painting?
Thanga.
Thanga, okay. Demand by tourists in Nepal for inexpensive thanga paintings has resulted in the proliferation of inferior thangkas containing symbolic inaccuracies, a sure sign of a dying art form. Okay, so I wonder what a sure sign of a dying art form is. This idea that there is certain symbolic inaccuracies, is that what's showing a sure sign of dying art form? Maybe. Nepal should prohibit sales of thangas to tourists. For such a prohibition will induce artists to create thangas that meet traditional standards. All right, so our first guy, Xavier, is saying that Nepal should prohibit sales of thangas to tourists. And we know that's our conclusion. Plus, it has the word for, which is a premise indicator.
Mm-hmm.
But already I'm like, well, just because we limit the sales, does that mean that artists would actually create them to meet traditional standards? Because who's going to buy them? Wouldn't the people that they would not be limiting to already, so like the locals, wouldn't they already be looking for traditional standard ones? So are their desire just going to go up once you stop selling them to tourists?
Say that again.
I'm like, well, what is this going to solve? I said, wouldn't there already be local people that would be wanting the originals? So just by limiting to the tourist, you're just going to assume that the traditional standards are going to go up? Like, who's going to buy them? I don't know. Yvette, an art form without dedicated young artists will decay and die. If tourists were forbidden to buy thangas, young artists would cease making thangas and concentrate instead on an art form tourists can buy. So Yvette responds to Xavier by. So I'm going to predict. She says that, well, it's necessary to have young people doing this art form. And if you eliminate it, and if you eliminate selling them to tourists, the young people aren't going to do it. And so it's going to die anyways. So Xavier's conclusion just won't work either. Okay. A, denying the existence of the problem that Xavier's proposal is designed to ameliorate. No, we don't deny the existence of the problem. B, challenging the integrity. No, we do not challenge the integrity of Xavier's sources.
No, that's not. Yeah.
C, arguing that Xavier's proposal, if implemented, would result in the, yes, I love C, would result in the very consequences it is meant to prevent.
Okay.
D,
okay.
using an analogy to draw a conclusion that is no. E, showing the evidence presented by Xavier has no bearing on the point at issue. No, like his evidence is about this issue. It's just not complete. So our answer is going to be C, because we're saying that, hey, if we do what you say and prohibit the sale of thangas,
that doesn't mean that these young artists will just create them in traditional standards, because nobody's gonna buy them anyway.
Right. Well, she says that if tourists were forbidden to buy thangas, young artists would cease making thangas. And if the young artists cease to make them, the art form will decay and die. So even though you're going to prohibit this, so if you prohibit the sale of them, it's also going to decay and die as well. Because he says this is a sure sign of a dying art.
Dying art, yeah. I was like, wait, but he's saying that the result is making inferior thangas, but that is a sign of dying art.
Form. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.